Bulletcast for life.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. I'm a microphone messiah, the X Factor of podcasting, a California classic, 25-year-old piece of gold, a whole lot of things. It's a couple days late, but I'm here to recap Hell in the Cell 2021, the last pay-per-view of the pandemic Thunderdome era. But I'm not alone, and I don't have the usual crew. Brandon's not here, Cindy's not here, Baby Huey's not here. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a limousine riding, jet flying, NBA championship ring wearing, the voice of all pro wrestling, the former Bimbo Jimbo, Mr. James Kincaid. How you doing?
Great
there?
intro. Going really down the depth chart though to get me on here.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back here with you. It's always a good time. And you said something interesting there right at the top. The last show of sort of the pandemic Thunderdome era is just I don't know, that just stood out to me. It's something. It's a period of time that certainly, if you're around and we're watching wrestling, it will always sort of stick out to you. Who thrived, who didn't, and just how everyone had to try and adapt in this crazy world.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's a period of time that I know we won't forget, and especially just watching wrestling and seeing like who truly had to step up their game and who truly had to really perform to no one. And I think those who really shine during this period of time, I think those are your star performers. You look at an Oscar, you look at an MVP. Drew McIntyre looking to win the title of record, as you like to say. Absolutely. In front of no one and carrying it through the majority of it. But it's funny, Drew actually main evented the first and last pandemic era shows.
Yeah, that is an interesting point too. Well, he was a good one to do it, and I think Drew is just such an incredible performer, and it's been, in spite of all of the hurdles and everything, cool to see him finally get the run, that he has earned. I think obviously he probably pictured it a little bit differently in his head, but like I said before, we're all just trying to adapt, and there are worse things than performing in front of the Thunderdome and stuff like that. They found a way to really put out some high quality stuff, and maybe not what we're about to talk about, but big fan of Drew, and it is an interesting sort of bookend that he main evented the first and the last. Absolutely.
So I know Brandon normally likes to talk about the kickoff show, but we're not going to do that here. We're just going to jump right into it. The main card. Bianca Belair, the defending SmackDown Women's Champion, takes her first steps inside Hell in the Cell for the first time. She goes in there with Bayley. Bayley had her first Hell in the Cell match last year. She lost that one and lost this one.
Yeah.
They go 1945. It was cool, man. I watched Wrestling with Regret, and Brian Zane said he felt like kind of Bianca's the use of her hair is becoming kind of tiresome, and they did some cool spots here. I mean, with the tying the hair on the bottom rope and her using it to trip Bayley, I thought that was clever. And then her tying her hair to Bayley's wrist, kind of like a strap match, a little quasi strap match. I thought that was interesting. But I mean, Abe, they worked really well. I was like, okay, I guess I could see it being in a Hell in the Cell, their feud or whatever.
Yeah, with all due respect to Brian Zane and Wrestling with Regret, I do disagree a little bit with them overdoing it with Bianca's hair. I actually remember when she was still down in NXT, there was a point in time where they pivoted away from her using the hair whip as a maneuver in the ring, and I was against that at the time. I think it's something that just makes her so unique, and it's something like that we've never really seen before in pro wrestling, that I like the use of Bianca's hair. In particular in this match, I liked it when she sort of fended off the chair shot using her hair to defend herself against the unforgiving steel chair that Bayley was wielding. I thought that was cool, and I liked that they sort of were telling more of that story. Now, I could see if this got prolonged and they made it all about the hair necessarily. But that being said, Bianca's hair being a weapon of sorts, Bayley certainly has an axe to grind with that. Perhaps Bayley already cut her hair, but if there ever was a competitor to be in a hair versus hair match, Bianca Belair is certainly near the top of that list, because it is such a big part of her wrestling persona and what she does in that ring. So I think that adds a little bit of juice to it, honestly. And I really, really liked this match. I thought that this was probably match of the night, starting things off with the first match proper. I really enjoyed it. The KOD on the ladder to finish it. It was, Bayley is just performing at a really high level right now. And of course, so is Bianca Belair. So I thought this was a good show out for both of them, and another strong title defense for Bianca. Absolutely.
Bayley, another person that really found her stride during this era of wrestling.
Yeah, Bayley, I will always look at Bayley with sort of just tinged with a little bit of what could have been. I outside of Izzy, might have been the biggest sort of old school Bayley fan that there was. I am a big believer in the hugger Bayley and the colorful Bayley, the inflatable tube men Bayley in NXT. In NXT, I think that Bayley she gets her credit, but I don't think she gets enough credit, enough props that she deserves for what she did in NXT in changing the outlook of women's wrestling, because Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky, they get most of the flowers, I feel like, in terms of that four horseman group. But Bayley was such an important part of that. Who did Sasha have the Iron Woman match with? It was with Bayley. Bayley and her sort of just innate underdog character and everything that was so easy to get behind and root for changed a lot of minds and really showed the stories that they could tell in that ring. And so I will always have a soft spot for babyface Bayley. I don't feel like she was handled correctly when she was first brought from NXT to Raw and SmackDown and stuff like that. And it just was, we could go on and on about that. But yes, in this heel role, she has really, found her stride, and it's a totally different character than who I sort of, fell for in NXT and just really got behind as a performer. But she is thriving. I always look at her and be like, oh man, I just really believe she could have been, female John Cena in terms of merch movement and, the whole color scheme and everything like that. And just such a great baby face. But, the main roster, as I like to call it, catering, kind of screwed it up.
The babyface Bayley, you just forget. You kind of forget about it. I mean, at least in my head, I forgot. Like, damn, she really came out there with wacky, wavy, inflatable, arm flailing tube men.
She did, and it was crazy over too. I mean, you go back to, and I know we're getting sidetracked here, but it's kind of what I do is torpedo conversations. But you go back to when she was in NXT, and she had the crowd in London serenading her. You look at in terms of over performers in NXT, people that were just had the crowd absolutely lock, stock, and barrel behind them. Look no further than Bayley. It was impressive. And again, she's doing great stuff with the heel character. I just always look at her and be like, man, if they had given her half a chance to be that Bayley on Raw or SmackDown, I think she would be thriving in a different way. But yeah, I thought this was match of the night. They both delivered for sure. I do want to say before we get too deep into this, I am so vehemently on principle opposed to this pay-per-view existing. The Hell in a Cell, the stipulation theme pay-per-views to me are it's just out of the book of bad ideas. Shoehorning and forcing matches into Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is almost meaningless at this point, unfortunately. And it has this pay-per-view to blame for it. Not this one in particular, but this branding behind it. And look at this year. We had one on Friday before the pay-per-view, and then we had one on Monday afterwards. So in the span of a few days, 72 hours or whatever it is, we had 4 Hell in a Cell matches, 2 of them not even on pay-per-view. And I don't know. Well, it's just sort of killed the stip.
That's due to the networks not being happy with the product on both brands.
Yeah,
That was just to spike a rating.
Yeah, but look at it this way. Those matches wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a pay-per-view theme called Hell in a Cell.
That's true. And I mean, like, as far as gimmick pay-per-views, I feel like Money in the Bank, that's fine.
Money in the Bank is fine because it's about something.
Yeah, and Elimination Chamber, I mean,
the whole idea is you should not have, I would not have more than a couple elimination chambers a year. But I also don't think that there necessarily has to be one every year. So if you get into a situation where it's like, oh man, we got like 5 guys vying for this, number 1 contender spot, or 6 guys, oh wow, the natural fit is the elimination chamber. Or we have this insane blood feud between, Roman Reigns and, let's just say, The Rock. And, they keep going back and forth. But well, where's the logical conclusion? What can we do that we haven't done yet? Hell in a Cell, as opposed to having it on your calendar that you have to have Hell in a Cell matches here, or you have to have an elimination chamber match here. It's just telegraphing it too much. And it's shoehorning in something that it makes it less special.
That is true. And the June threw it all out of whack. I'm like, what?
Yeah, for sure.
Experience this in October. What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, bring back Halloween Havoc. Well, I guess NXT has it now.
Yeah, that's true. Can we bring back Capital Carnage or something like that?
I'm into that.
I'm still waiting on the sold out pay-per-view to make a return in some way, shape, or form.
Don't rule it out.
I'm down for it. Our graphic designer and Brightest Day X, or Mr. X, he said, now that Bianca has defeated Bayley, who will her next opponent be? How long do you see Belair holding on to the title? I can see her dropping it at the Rumble. Yeah,
I mean, I could see her holding on to it through WrestleMania. I could see her dropping it at the Rumble. I could see her dropping it at SummerSlam. I think, but I think they want her to have a nice long run with it. So probably, I think, at least to the Royal Rumble.
The real problem is who challenges her, because you look at the SmackDown side. Liv, she's not there yet. You could always throw Carmella there. I mean, she's a former champion. Natty and Tamina are busy on Raw. Who else is on SmackDown?
Well, you bring Sasha Banks back and have a Belair Sasha 2 at SummerSlam.
Okay,
I think that would be big. Becky Lynch is nearing a return. Becky and Bianca would be huge. Becky and Rhea would be huge. So I think I think any of those, if I don't want to see NXT lose talent, but if they were to grab an Io Shirai or something like that, I hope not. I want NXT to stay independent and keep their own horses going. But I think there's enough talent there for Bianca. Maybe I get my wish, and that's the return of Rowdy Ronda Rousey into the mix. As I would love to see Ronda Rousey come back to WWE and get right back into the championship mix.
Yeah. I've been wondering what's Ronda been doing. I mean, she had a baby, of course, or is she's pregnant? One of the two, something like that.
Is she?
I believe, right?
I think. I mean, it sounds right.
Yeah, all the wrestlers are having babies. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, after Bianca and Bayley, Seth Rollins, he defeats Cesaro in a singles match. It was 16-15. It was just good, man. Like you really forget just how good Seth Rollins is. Like I remember that 2015 run, bro. I mean, Seth was on a different level. It was just something special.
I think Seth has, as long as he's a heel, is one of the top guys in all of wrestling. I love the Monday Night Messiah deal. I love the Shield. I loved when he was with the Authority. Seth is special, and he and Cesaro have a special type of chemistry. And Cesaro got the huge win at WrestleMania. I don't think it hurts Cesaro at all to give up a quick one back to Seth at Hell in a Cell. It gives Seth a little bit of ability to brag, even though he can't, he caught him with a quick one. It wasn't like it was so super definitive or anything like that. But Seth, I think, kind of needed it a little bit to keep up his trash talk. And it definitely delivered too. It was very good.
What are your thoughts on the drip?
I like the drip, although it is this is sort of laughable competition on Raw and SmackDown between, Johnny Drip Drip and Seth Drip Drip in terms of who has the better style. And
Seth has the better style.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess he's competing for second place because the man with the most drip and most style is on the black and gold brand. Santos Escobar puts them all to shame. I mean, he's not even close.
I don't know, man. Seth came out there with that legit. It was like a white blue drip suit. I'm like, oh, yo,
I'll take Santos Escobar every day and twice on Sunday. That guy is dripping all over the place.
No, Santos has some drip. I mean, even the ring gear is drip.
Yes, absolutely.
He's
the coolest guy in wrestling, in my opinion.
I'm all for Santos Escobar. Give him that North American title. Come on, what are we waiting for?
I'm with that.
But I mean, yeah, this was really good, and I mean, Cesaro taking an L here, it's not going to hurt him, and the story of Seth just trying to avoid the swing and then countering it on that next set that was about to come and rolling him up. I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I think this delivered. It was very good. But coming into this show, once again, Hell in a Cell, not a great sort of scheme behind any pay-per-view. But even looking at the card, it's like, oh, it's kind of like the WrestleMania rehash show. Even Charlotte and Rhea Ripley is a WrestleMania rematch from a couple years ago. So it just. I don't know. I'm glad they got their match, and like I said, I think it helped Seth out a little bit. It doesn't hurt Cesaro, and it was very enjoyable to watch. But I don't think it didn't feel there was not nearly as much juice on it as there was at WrestleMania.
Yes. Not enough drip.
Yes, correct. I mean, the suit was nice though.
Next up was Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler. Match goes 7 minutes. Yeah, this happened. Look, I've been an advocate of WWE sometimes getting weird with it. Like I like when things get a little weird, but I don't know, man. We got a fan mail. Let me read this. And Brightest Dex, he hit us up again and he said, okay, so if Alexa can use voodoo or whatever to control people, why didn't she just make Shayna lay down and so she could pin her?
Yeah, well, I mean, she clearly hasn't fully mastered it yet.
Okay.
And she has to really channel it and work hard. I actually love it. Yeah. I really do.
It's different. She's tapping into something new. And this has been going on for a year now.
I think Alexa Bliss has taken everything the company has given her and has made it better. I am such an Alexa Bliss fan, and I think this is no different. I miss The Fiend. I don't know what's going on with that and everything like that, but in a vacuum, Alexa Bliss doing this character, it completely works. And I think she's crushing it. I really like it. She's nailed the facial expression. She is a living doll. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
You know what, Matt? Sidebar. You ever watch one of her promos with muted?
What is that?
Have you ever watched one of her promos with the sound off?
I have not.
Bro, try that. I've done that when I was in class and whatnot. Not supposed to be watching wrestling, but it was muted and I'm watching Alexa Bliss and I can still understand the story because of those facial expressions. That's how good she is.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point. She's a great storyteller, and I don't know. I like the character, and I'm glad she got the win over Shayna here. I'm digging Alexa. And I think Alexa versus Rhea Ripley would be fun.
That would be something interesting. But you know what? Since she's doing all this voodoo stuff, I know Asuka does the poison mist, but have you studied the mists, the different ones?
In terms of the different sort of effects of them, I have not.
Yeah, so I think I want to say it's the yellow one, to where you can it causes narcolepsy, and then there's another one that causes people to be paralyzed. Vaccinations are out or whatever. I want her to start dabbling in the mist realm.
Well, WWE did use the mist during the pandemic with Asuka, so
that is true.
It was a bold move by them in the middle of a pandemic, but I wouldn't rule it out. I am really just digging the Alexa Bliss character, though. I wish we had gotten a more sort of definitive reasoning on what was going on with the Fiend and everything like that. That's really the only drawback I see to the character right now. But
yeah, I mean, he's advertised to come back for a Raw in August at whatever town they're going to be in that day. But we shall wait and see on the Fiend. All right, next up we have Sami Zayn defeating Kevin Owens. It's 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Sami beating him clean.
Yeah, I'm all for it. And this is, again, another WrestleMania rematch kind of deal, but I'm all for it. Sami Zayn is one of my favorite things in pro wrestling right now, I think. And it's something that I didn't see coming. If you told me a couple years ago that a heel Sami Zayn would be the sort of best Sami Zayn that we would be getting, I would have thought you were crazy, because he just seemed like such a natural, rootable babyface, underdog. But this Sami Zayn is so much fun. The conspiracy theory stuff, his sort of Che Guevara inspired esque outfit, and all just the wild stuff that he does, the dancing, he's killing it right now. And I was happy to see him get a win back here to sort of build some momentum for himself. I love this Sami Zayn character.
Absolutely. You know what's going to be the real test of true great character work? To see how Sami Zayn and Bayley can get back to being those lovable monster baby faces.
Sami, I could see it happening much easier than Bayley.
Absolutely.
Bayley's it's a tougher sell with how they turned her heel, and I don't see her being able to go back to being the same type of baby face that she was before. I just don't see them swinging the pendulum that wildly. Sami Zayn, I think it's an easier ask, but right now he's just killing it with this whole conspiracy theory. It's so good. It's so good.
Why'd they stop the Artist Collective? I was digging that when he was doing that.
I liked it too, but I think this might be even better. But because he's channeling aspects of the Artist Collective. He's still being that hipster sort of guy that we'd see in Berkeley.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really digging what Sammy's doing right now.
At a Ike's getting like a veggie sub, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Gluten-free bread.
Oh, light mayo.
Eat at home, dude. Eat at home.
Love Sami Zayn, man. I need to chop it up with Sami Zayn one day. One time for the one time. Next up, it is the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley defends against Charlotte Flair. It goes 14-10. It's a pretty decent match until we get a DQ finish, and I mean, okay, you want to protect Charlotte. I understand that. Well, how do you feel about the way we got to this match? Because I mean, if you look at it, we're not really sure what Rhea is, and like her whole character is she's young and she's the champion. That's basically her character now. And I mean, Charlotte, she's Charlotte Flair. We already know, but Brandon he made a point of this. All they had to do was be like, okay, Charlotte beat Rhea at WrestleMania. This is Rhea's redemption. That's all they really had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that will become part of the storyline, because now Charlotte has not one but two matches to say, you can't beat me. And I think this feud is far from over. I think we're going to see it go. I think they should take it through SummerSlam. I think, whatever stipulation they want to cap it off with at SummerSlam, I think would make total sense. So I think there's just a lot more mileage left here, which is why we did not get a real finish here.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte has the rematch at Money in the Bank.
Yes.
People are upset, but I mean, she's Charlotte Flair.
I don't see, and that's just ridiculous.
It's Charlotte Flair, man.
Like, Charlotte Flair is so talented and is a legitimate draw. I don't understand the hate that Charlotte Flair gets.
Dude, did you see the A&E Treasure Show, the Ric Flair episode? Dude, that video package that they played for Charlotte, I'm like, yo. That reminded me how good she really is.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up.
She's genetically superior, bro.
She's a top star. And I was thinking about this. Actually, it's funny after watching that, is that, people, we want to create new legends and new, all these new things. It's like, I don't think that The Undertaker would have escaped this more highly critical era. Given just the amount that he just won nonstop. I feel like the fans today would have just rebelled against The Undertaker and his booking. If we're judging it by how people rebel against Charlotte's booking, dude, there's no chance that some guys like, Triple H and The Undertaker and Stone Cold. God, could you imagine fans today probably be complaining about, it's Stone Cold in the main event again? Are you kidding me, dude? So yeah, I don't know. I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Stone Cold in his prime on Twitter would have been great.
Yeah.
I mean, so like, but bro, like, you really think about it. She has 10 world titles racked up. She could be on number 11. That's crazy.
She could be. Yeah.
That's crazy.
No doubt about it. And, I think, look, there is some validity to wanting to freshen up the main event scene. And I was as critical or at least somewhat critical about the fact that she ended up in that, match with Ronda and Becky at WrestleMania. I don't think it necessarily needed to be a triple threat match, but it was phenomenal. And the build was great. And her presence in it didn't take away from it. So, and Becky got to beat them both. So, is what it is.
I mean, I don't know, man. Hopefully they can pick it up. Hopefully they can. Rhea, she's young and she's the champion. Like, that's really it. That's her character.
Yeah, I just think she is the champion right now, but there definitely seems to be they haven't really found their footing with how best to present her in the same sort of cool way that they did in NXT. I mean, that's the story of a lot of performers.
That is true. That Brandon and I, we still need to do that podcast. We're gonna have to have you back on for that. That is going to be a very lengthy, detailed show.
Now, which one is that?
Where we just go over every NXT call up.
I mean, look, I'm game. I'd love to talk about that.
I have some thoughts about a lot of them. I mean, we'll see where Charlotte and Rhea will go. All right, next up, it is the main event for the WWE Championship. The almighty Bobby Lashley. Loving Bobby as champion, by the way. I just got to throw it out there. I love it. I love it, man. He goes up against Drew McIntyre. They go 25 minutes and 45 seconds. If Drew cannot beat Bobby Lashley, this is his last opportunity while Lashley is champion for him to get an opportunity at the WWE title. And Bobby beats him with a schoolboy.
Terrible.
Hellfire and brimstone inside Hell in the Cell, and he lost. He lost to a wrestling move.
It was terrible. Just a terrible finish. It was a good main event. People talk about the crash pad and stuff like that. I didn't care about that. I care about the fact that, like, what a terrible finish inside Hell in the Cell. It was, when I forget at which point. I didn't even bother going back to rewatch because I like the illusion. But the roll up finish off the distraction was a Monday Night Raw finish. That's like, and a lot of this, if you take the Hell in the Cell out of the equation, a lot of this show felt like a very good episode of Monday Night Raw as opposed to a pay-per-view.
That's true.
And yeah, I hated the finish so much, especially with something that's so definitive as far as taking the bullets out of Drew's gun to be able to challenge for the WWE Championship while Lashley's champion. To end it that way, to me, was bad.
Look, I get that they don't want Drew to look weak. Well, give Lashley another finisher that he can hit on guys where he doesn't have to use the hurt lock. He was using the spear. Why can't he just do that again?
Yeah, he could do the spear. He used to do the Dominator. There's a lot of different things he could do. Also, I was hoping when they finally opened the cage door that the Hurt Business was going to come in there and they were going to reunite, and that's how you end sort of Drew's attempts at being champion again. Is if you bring them out there and it's all cool in the gang again, but didn't get my wish.
If that had happened, I wouldn't have even talked about the rest of the card. We'd just be talking about that for like 35 minutes.
Dude, breaking up the Hurt Business was such a stupid move.
To MVP said they didn't break up; they just downsized.
Yeah, but we all know. It was bad.
The girls are in the Hurt Business now.
I just.
What are your thoughts on the girls? I love the girls.
Oh, they're great. They're great.
Absolutely.
But I like Shelton in a suit, man. Like, give me my Shelty B.
I don't know, man. Maybe Hit Row can pop up and go join Bobby Lashley. I don't know.
I mean, I like what Hit Row's got going on in NXT, but I just
shout out Hit Row.
Yeah,
love Hit Row.
It was a bad way to end the show. A roll up finish inside Hell in a Cell off a very Monday Night Raw-esque distraction. It was just I don't know. That was not great.
Yeah, well, looks like Brock's coming for Lashley.
Which it's surprising too, because you would think that Fox would really want Brock on SmackDown.
Well, they can get Big Match John.
They can, but given the sort of combat sports background of Fox Sports and everything like that, I was hoping for like a custody of Paul Heyman in a ladder match with he and Roman Reigns and stuff like that. But yeah, Brock and Bobby should be great. I hope Brock wins and becomes champion again. I love Brock Lesnar. He is box office. He is a draw. I like Bobby Lashley too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm the one clamoring for the Hurt Business, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job with MVP. But I miss Brock, and I love Brock.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said this a couple weeks ago, like WWE, they desperately need the part-timers at this point in time.
Yeah, look, I think wrestling as a whole, they need star power. And Brock is star power. He's legitimacy. He's a household name, and he jumps off the screen, So I'm all for him coming back and being a big part of their plans.
Yeah, it's interesting. Roman didn't main event a pay-per-view. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that is the other thing, too. Is moving the match with Rey Mysterio off of the show and onto SmackDown. To me, that's a disappointment, because that to me was my real main event. Like, that's a good story they were telling. And, it's Roman Reigns, who is on this insane run right now. I mean, he's doing such great things with this new character, and to take him off this show was
Have you acknowledged Roman Reigns as your tribal chief?
Oh, I definitely acknowledge Roman Reigns. He's the head of the table.
Thank you, man. Because Brandon, he's still a little iffy about it. I'm like, yo, bro, like I don't think you understand. You're not gonna be able to eat if you don't accept Roman Reigns.
No, I definitely acknowledge him. I'm like cowering in the corner like Paul Heyman.
Absolutely, man. I haven't had a chance to really talk to you about this. We're gonna get into some Roman talk right now. So, when do you think he should lose this championship? Because I've said he loses it after he beats Rock.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's absolutely right.
Like that could be at WrestleMania Hollywood in 2023.
No, well, I don't think. I think that they. I think that WrestleMania this year is when Rock should do it. There's, I get the Hollywood appeal. They could have the rematch in Hollywood if they want it, but. I think that, look, Dallas is a bigger venue or as big a venue. And I don't know if they could stretch it out that long. Hell, I know the rumor right now is Roman Cena at SummerSlam. If they wanted to do Roman Rock at SummerSlam, I'm all for that too. But I think they want a bigger build. But I agree with you. I don't think he should lose the championship until after he faces Rock.
Yeah, man, because I laid this out and I mean, like, look, it's the Universal title. I mean, people are just now starting to care about the championship now that it's in Roman's possession in this current capacity. Like, man, you just line him up, bro. Like, he beats Cena. I'm sure he's gonna have a match with Jimmy eventually. He beats him. You have your little draft. Let's say Riddle goes over to SmackDown, and Roman lays out some other guys. Finally beats Rock. Look, the person that beats Roman for that championship is going to be made. They're going to be made because, look, you go back to it. Roman's the guy that beat the guy that ended the streak.
Yeah.
Roman he got the definitive rub of beating Brock when he won the Universal title in 2018 at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I would like, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't even know if we've seen the guy that's gonna beat Roman yet, which is an interesting sort of thing. Big E is a name that I would like to see in that mix.
He was thrown around. People have been toying with Adam Cole as of late, and I'm like, that'd be something. That'd be something.
Yeah, I don't know if Adam Cole's the guy to do that. But
I mean, given he's still in NXT, I mean, we're talking like. We're talking like I said, between like mid to late 2022 to 2023.
Yeah, I think that I mean there's a number of different ways you can go with it. I just think they still have to ride the hot hand with Roman for right now, which is why I'm glad they made the move that they did at WrestleMania. I think that there's still more meat on the bone if they want to do Edge and Roman in singles, Roman and Goldberg, if they want to do, honestly, I would love for them to get Daniel Bryan back. And if he is a guy that, if he can continue on his career, should still be a tippy top guy. And he's somebody that I would love seeing get that moment. I don't know, but I mean, I'm enjoying what we've got with Roman Reigns. And I think those two matches with Jey Uso, I want to see them capitalize on that, because Jey, to me, that's a single superstar right there.
That's main event Jey Uso.
That guy, like the way he used his voice and everything, is a study on how to get over and how to use, your surroundings to your benefit, and the fact that there wasn't, the super full throated live crowd and stuff like that. I thought Jey Uso really stepped up and hit a couple of home runs.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, like as we move forward, like we know Jimmy's gonna wrestle Roman. We know that's coming eventually. And what I laid out, man. You remember this end of an era, Hunter and Taker inside the cell with Shawn as a special guest referee. The emotion that Shawn displayed in that match, but because he's caught in the middle, with his best friend and then his greatest rival that became one of his good friends. I could see Jey Uso caught in between his brother and caught in between his cousin.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that the logical decision there is that Jey has been so beaten down and so under his thumb, depending on when you do it, is that he sticks with Roman. And the whole, I've looked at Roman since this thing started with he and the Usos as like sort of Training Day-esque, in the gang warfare aspect of it, and just that, Roman's the guy that would have you in his bathtub with a shotgun in your mouth, like trying to get answers out of you. And then the next day he'd see you at the barbecue and be like, let me get you a plate, boss. And it's just like nothing happened. That's the level of sort of like just insanity that we're at here with Roman, the level of delusion.
Yeah, man. Cause I can really see like Jey being the special guest referee, and he's just so fed up. He throws a super kick, accidentally hits Roman, and then there's that. And then there's like, oh wait, is he gonna do it, or is Jimmy about to walk out of here champion? Something like that, And I can also see Roman like just beat down Jimmy so much to where he taps into that Shawn, I'm sorry, I love you, and then because he debuted another variation of a choke on Ray. He got the cravat going now instead of the guillotine.
Yeah, and I mean it's. Roman's just on another level right now. So whatever direction they want to take him, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I could see him being like, "I'm sorry, I love you," and just choking Jimmy out, putting him to sleep, going night.
I mean, he's kind of done that, like with Jey. It's just like he didn't want. He's like, I'm trying to put food on your table.
Man,
just wanted you to acknowledge me.
That Hell in the Cell performance last year, man. Give Roman Reigns an Academy Award.
Dude, and Jey, they both were phenomenal. That whole thing and Jimmy's interference too. It was. Both those matches on pay-per-view were some of my favorite stuff that I've seen in wrestling in a long time.
Absolutely. So. But if Cena is the guy to come and challenge Roman at SummerSlam, I need John Cena to tap into the John Cena that I know. The guy that didn't take no ish from anybody. The guy that once told Roman Reigns, I do this better part-time than you ever could full-time. I need that John Cena for SummerSlam.
Well,
going up against this Roman.
I think the reprise of that feud will tap directly back into that, and sort of, I just think that there is more miles to go with that feud, and I think John, I hope, does tap back into that sort of more edgy side of himself, and I'm excited for it. That's huge. Roman and Cena at SummerSlam is big time stuff. And it's got cool layering to it too, because if John wins, that's his 17th world championship, could pass Ric Flair and stuff like that. Like that's a moment in and of itself.
Oh, do we count the Universal as a world title? Do we do that?
Absolutely. You have to.
Do we?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if you count the World Heavyweight Championship,
that was the NWA heritage and whatnot. That was the WCW heritage.
Yeah, but it's WWE. I mean, who's got more heritage than them? So. Nobody.
I mean, technically the NWA is still a thing, and that they've been around since the 40s. But they have taken some hiatuses.
Another time.
They have taken some hiatuses. But I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. But I mean, Roman, it's something great. I love it. I love what Roman is doing, and I'm like,
you need to acknowledge your champion's title.
Whoa!
I don't think the head of the table would have been happy to hear you say that. All of a sudden, you think he's just carrying around something that doesn't mean anything.
Roman, you got two options, brother. You can go to the warehouse. You can get the big gold out the crate, or I got a beautiful Bullet Cast title sitting right here.
I think that you need to acknowledge him. Still.
Hey, look, I love Roman, and look, watching that Yoko Icons doc where Yoko was providing for the family, it makes Roman even more relatable.
Yeah, I'm just very excited for the hopeful inevitability of him and Rock because, and I've said this a bunch of places, and to me, the promo writes itself is, yeah, Roman, you're the head of the table in a mansion that The Rock built. And that to me that sets up the match, sets up everything. It doesn't even have to be for the championship either. I think odds are it will be, but it doesn't have to be. And I think you absolutely have to have Roman go over no matter what's on the line.
And that's Rock's final match. I'm sure they'll do good business. Let Rock really train for it. Give him 25 minutes. Let him tear the house down.
For
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, that's going to do it. I know we went off onto some tangents here, but hey, that's what great conversations are made of. Jimbo, let people know where they can find you, man.
Check me out at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings across the United Wrestling Network. If you're in the Bay Area listening to this, you can catch us on Cron 4 late Saturday night. So set your DVRs, or you can catch us on YouTube. It is Championship Wrestling presented by West Coast Pro Wrestling. Social media at James Kincaid on Twitter, at the James Kincaid on Instagram.
All right. You guys know where to find me at Heel Antwine on Twitter and Instagram. The Bulletcast on Instagram and YouTube, at Bulletcast on Twitter. Lodi-Con, our good buddy Mike Miller's running that this weekend. Go meet the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and some other great talents. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, get vaxxed and waxed. The Microphone Alchemist, the Microphone Messiah, one of the best tag teams in wrestling.
That's a dynamic duo, my friend.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, bud. Thank you.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.